Nancy again. I am working on some little tags, very similar to the mason jar tags that I made a couple weeks ago. But this one is using this die that I got at Hobby Lobby. It has an adorable little teacup. So the maker is Spellbinders. The price was $9.99, but I think it was either 40% off all dies or 50% off all dies. I can't remember. So what I did was I layered up some vintage book pages and then with a glue stick glued on some vintage fabrics. And I don't know whether it was the book pages or if it was the die, but I had a much more difficult time this time cutting the shape, and sometimes I had to go back in with scissors and go over it. So I'm not as happy as I was with the mason jars, but I'm going to show you how I will stitch these little jobbers, and then I will show you how I will use them in a journal. So there is a slight impression to follow, which I'm having a very hard time seeing right now. But I think you get the idea. I'll go right up into this corner. So you have to take your time and keep your eyes open. I won't be posting this video until probably Tuesday, but right now it's Sunday. I did wake the old man up and we went out for Eggs Benedict. And now I am tucked up in my craft room, and I think he's doing a course on the computer or something. I can hear him. Oh! I just heard him snoring. He's having a nap. He's having a post-Benny nap. Okay. So this is going to be tricky, getting around the handle. But we're all ready for a week ahead. Went to Staples after breakfast and got my favorite pens so that I'm all set for work tomorrow. I'm kind of a pen snob, and that's an understatement. The tip on my pens are a maximum of 0.7, and that's kind of pushing it. I'm also kind of a snob about paper, and I don't like the office paper we have, so I get my own. I know, I'm weird. If it makes me happy, why wouldn't I, right? Okay. Not sure how much of that showed, but okay. I'm just clipping those threads. And see, there's some threads. Now, I didn't have that problem with the mason jar. So, Okay, I'm going to put you on hold for a sec. I'm going to do a little bit of distressing. That's really lifting up those outside threads, giving it sort of a shabby chic look. Gotta be careful with the handle because it's very flimsy. So there is that. I'm going to cut off some of these longer ones. It's been kind of a short weekend for me. We actually had to attend a strategic planning meeting, sort of to lay out what our plans at the office are going to be for the next 5 years, or I don't know. Anyway, so that's how we spent yesterday. Kind of ate into the weekend, but next weekend is 4 days, so that's great. I think I'm gonna go home and see some family briefly. I don't want to be away from my own home too much because that's a great time for me to get into some projects. Oh, this is coming out cute with this light colored one. So if you can guess, my next journal is going to have kind of a tea theme. Anyway, I had won a couple of items on an online auction in my hometown this week, and I got my sister to pick it up for me, so I have to go and get that out of her life. I'm sure she doesn't want my stuff all sitting around. I got some ephemera, like genuine old stuff, and I also got some books, and one of the books was a value guide for little golden books, so I thought that was interesting. So I can see what's desirable and what to keep my eyes open for. And try to figure out how to date some of these things. Oh, that looks nice. In some cases, I flipped it over so that there would be a pair of teacups that match, which made finding this impression a little more difficult, but worth the effort. These are all vintage scraps that I purchased I was going to say last weekend, but I think it was actually 2 weekends ago. My daughter-in-law has been a crafting fool all week. I sent her home with my Cricut. I got a Cricut 2 years ago and I never use it, and we were just out shopping and in a craft store, because, you know, that's what we do. And she happened to mention, oh, I'm going to get myself a Cricut one day. And I said, you're going to have mine. So it took some strategic packing, to say the least, to get it in to take home on the plane, but we got her done. So her sister was visiting her this weekend. Her sister is getting married in June, and she lives in the next province over. So it looks like they made a couple of wedding-related crafts with the Cricut this weekend, so that's great. I'm happy to see it getting used. So I have a lot more to go yet. Those ones are done, but I've got all of these yet to go. So I will be working on that, and then I will show you how I use some of these cups in a journal page. Okay, I'm back, and you can see the mess I've been making. So this is the book I've been working on. Get my lamp out of the way. This is a vintage book cover, and I saved the title page somewhere. So the date on that is 1909. Alrighty, so let me show you how I used those teacup tags. The first one I attached here on this piece of coffee dyed graph paper and layered it on some lace, some words, and then created this little tag and just stuck it right in there. The other way I used it was on this page, so I stacked up a couple of teacups and tucked tags in them. So that's how I am using this these teacup tags. I will be sharing more of what I'm doing with this journal in the coming days. It has 4 signatures in it. There's one of those tags sticking out. And each signature is the same, so let's take a look at one. So each signature starts with this airmail paper that's got lace sewed to the edge, has maple leaf printed on it. Piece of coffee dyed graph paper. Piece of ledger with a tab made out of fabric and lace that's sewn on. This is a it was writing paper, but shaped like folded into a card, but it was writing paper, not heavy cardstock. Actually, it was really thin paper. I had to glue both layers together. Piece of dictionary paper. This is a glossary from a Tolstoy book that was actually in Russian, so if somebody was trying to make their way through that. Here's the center, and this is coffee dyed notebook paper. To stabilize it a bit, I just glued on some torn dictionary paper, and on the Tolstoy novel I put on some washi tape. So that is the signature. There's some lace on the back of the card made out of writing paper. That's the other side of the ledger. Coffee dyed graph and the maple leaf writing paper. The tabs I think are really great color option. It matches the title page or the front of the book very well. I preserved the inside cover and used the same fabric from the tabs to adhere my signatures in. So it's a rounded spine, and it's about, just shy of an inch wide. So hope you'll check back and see what else I'm doing with this book.